Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So something that comes up all the time when it comes to hiring an accountant, whether it be folks asking me in CFO On Demand or in general, they see my content, you listen to this podcast and you think, okay, Shannon, when do I actually need an accountant? Do I need somebody right now? And you're going to be surprised by my answer. It's probably no. And let me explain why. So, what ends up happening is you see a lot of content from creators just like me. Now, you have to be aware of, well, what perspective are they coming from? I am an accountant. So, of course, I'm going to advocate that you should have an accountant. But we don't all have unlimited funds, unlimited resources, and unlimited time to spend on our business in terms of prioritizing these different things. So, I'm going to explain to you in this episode my kind of hierarchy of what you should be focused on, when to hire who, and I'm generalizing. So let me disclaim the crap out of this and say I'm generalizing this based on my experience with entrepreneurs. Your business might be different. Your business might command the need for this because you may have more risk than others, or you may not be savvy in this area, or maybe you have the capital that you can invest in a professional. So let's talk about what makes sense to invest in when it comes to accounting pros. So when you first start out, when you're first starting out, I actually would say that the first thing you need is bookkeeping, but you don't necessarily need to hire a bookkeeper. That you should probably find a way to simply keep track of your numbers, what comes in, what goes out, whether it be a spreadsheet. I always say crayon and napkins better than nothing. Whether it be a spreadsheet, whether it be QuickBooks, whether it be any other software platform, any format that you so please. It could be a notebook. I don't care. You just need something better than simply your bank statements, okay? Because we want to categorize everything, organize it into the binder folders to put on the bookshelf, so to speak. So make sure that you have a way of tracking and a way of monitoring this, and you make it a consistent habit. I would say at least every month, you should be updating your monthly books. Now, if this makes you cringe, if you're like, I absolutely hate this, I don't want to do it, I want nothing to do with this, and I'm allergic to numbers, guess what? I'm going to tell you to hire the bookkeeper or somebody who can take this on. A lot of VAs, a lot of EAs have light bookkeeping experience and could help you in the beginning. So just know that you could hire someone who's also a bookkeeper if you need to. Now, I don't think this is the permanent solution for you, but again, in your first 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years, totally works. It's better than nothing. My opinion is always that something's better than nothing and consistency is better than the perfect system. So, even if you hire the perfect professional or the perfect software that you buy and you spend a ton of money on it and you never update it, then it's basically worthless. There was no point in it to begin with. So, don't go invest in the QuickBooks if you're not going to update it. You have to find the habits that you're willing to adopt consistently, and you have to be willing to have the discipline to track these things. I promise you it will pay off. But if you're completely unwilling to do any sort of tracking and to manage your data effectively, then two things. One would be, then do you really know how to make decisions in your business and are you taking this seriously? And the other thing would be, well, then you probably should be focused on making a whole bunch of money so you can afford a professional to do this for you. My kind of, you know, hard stance on this is that you can invest in learning or you can invest in someone else to do it for you. There is no third option. It has to get done. So you don't have to hire a bookkeeper, but I expect you to have the commitment to the discipline. So I think you should have some type of bookkeeping solution in place from day one, just to keep track of your history and the trail of breadcrumbs of where your business has been. Then you need a tax professional who can prepare your return. Now, this tax professional can be the same person that you use for your personal, and likely they are going to be for your first year. Because, spoiler alert, if you have an LLC or sole proprietorship, if you have not filed for a corporation in your state or federally elected some type of corporation status, then you're going to be filing your business taxes as just one page or two pages of your personal tax return anyway. So you don't need a separate person to do your business stuff. Your tax professional should know plenty about how to do what's called a Schedule C and add that into your existing tax return. Now, you may want to revisit what professional you have if the person is not specialized in this area, or if you just know that you're kind of outgrowing your parents person that does your taxes, et cetera, right? Like if you're just kind of hiring that person for convenience because family has them, that's fine. But maybe you want to look for something more intentional and find that permanent solution of someone you can work with for your business. That's totally fair. Now, the next thing would be that as you grow, you're probably going to have some type of appetite for a tax strategist or tax planner, somebody who's going to help you be more proactive. Now, I would caution you and say a lot of people are out there who are scamming people, selling tax strategies that aren't actually super lucrative for you or maybe don't actually make sense for your business. So I'm not saying don't hire the strategist. I am saying, though, to instead of asking and trying to order like a restaurant, order a tax strategist, I would explore tax professionals that help you with tax planning and the tax preparation and can offer you different strategies and different options by presenting you the facts and helping educate you, not by simply blindly implementing strategies that you don't understand. This can get you in a lot of trouble if you don't understand the strategies they're being advised for you, or if you're not involved in the process. Again, do not hand the keys over to somebody else and let them drive. You got to keep your hands on the wheel and just trust that your navigator is going to help you and explain what turns to take. So if you adopt that mindset and you stay in the driver's seat, you will be fine. But I've just seen a lot of cases where people have just thrown the keys at a professional. The professional has basically crashed the car into a brick building in the metaphor. And then the client's like, oh my God, it's so expensive to fix this now because, something went sideways. Now, I just caution you to not simply believe the first person who says they can save you the most amount of money. I would definitely just have a little bit of skepticism and a little bit of that trust but verify attitude. That's all I'm asking. So, if you hire that person who can do tax planning for you, they can help you predict what you're going to owe and enact change so that you can see, hey, what other behaviors am I doing that could lead me to more tax savings? Like, could I have my kids work in the business and save a little bit of money? Could I implement an accountable plan for my S corporation? Could I implement the S corporation election for my business and save money? So they should be advising you of these things. You just want to have that expectation set with your tax professional that they're going to be doing that for you. So I would say you should have an accountant or a tax professional, I should say, in your corner that can help you year round with tax planning. Now, admittedly, and sorry if this ticks off my accountants in the room here, but admittedly, it is really tough to find a tax professional that is super responsive, super thorough with what they know, and also has good, what I would call bedside manner. So the tax industry has generally attracted the more introverted, the more like not super excited to talk to clients type of people. And I am generalizing. Okay. So just keep that in mind that it's a bit of a rarer find, but if you can find a practice, if you can find a team or a firm that can accommodate, your values of responsiveness, that's really key. So that you want to make that really clear from the get-go that you expect responsiveness within say 3 business days or something like that, and can they make that consistent promise to you? And, you make it a no. And that's okay. At least you know that and you've set the right expectation. So hire a tax professional that meets your needs and not to mention your style of how you like to interact with them. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I have this thing called the Small Business Starter Kit. It includes a mini course that I did called Money Pro Matchmaker. People are raving about how much this is helping them with interviewing accountants and bookkeepers and asking the right questions so they have a good relationship. And that's available to you. Just make sure check the link in the show notes to learn more about the Small Business Starter Kit and explore that as well as a resource. So, as we get into our business and we evolve, what's really important to understand is that these accounting professionals and tax professionals are here to help you. They really want to educate you. They want to feel involved in your business and they want to help drive impact for you. So the best thing you can do is involve them in the day-to-day decisions and make them feel informed if that's part of your agreement with them to help you year round. So I would say that the next phase would be hiring someone like a CFO or a controller for your company even considering hiring more people in your financial operations. So, the first thing I would do is probably hire someone to take over invoicing. Now, this could be your admin, this could be somebody else. Take over your invoicing, take over billing, take over bill payments and things like that, the financial transactions and operations. Now, if you run a pretty simple service based business, this may not be necessary, but it does help to have somebody who can arrange all this, maybe even run payroll for you. This could be your bookkeeper, or this could be an expanded role. This is what makes it so confusing when I say, like, well, you don't actually need an accountant because you could stitch together a, a web of contractors that all do these various functions. But I'm telling you that if you do, it's going to last you maybe 2, maybe 3 years, really, in your business. And then you have to find a more permanent solution. I always advocate for an element of the permanent solution to have the seed planted sooner rather than later so that you don't have to upend and overhaul your entire system once you realize you're ready for that new permanent solution. So I would recommend that you bring in this sort of web of contractors, but maybe throw in one person who's probably going to stick around for a while, that's going to work in the operations, or somebody who's going to be a permanent fixture in your business to help you with the accounting or taxes. That's going to be key. So make sure you have those relationships you're fostering from the get go. So when you start a business, like I said, you don't actually need an accountant. You need a commitment to do your bookkeeping. You need somebody to do your taxes. So if you want to call that an accountant, sure. But you just need to have somebody who can prepare your taxes. And who knows? Maybe by the time you listen to this next tax season, you'll be using AI generative language, or you'll be using, IRS's free file, or more resources will be available to taxpayers on how to do this themselves. Who knows? Now, is there a world where this could be a possibility? Maybe. But, for now, a lot of people hire CPAs or tax pros to do this for them. So hire that person. And then the next thing would be a commitment to your financial operations. So this could be an admin, this could be other folks, but they definitely have to have some experience and they have to be able to meet your goals of, collecting from customers or paying vendors on time and make sure that those operations are running smoothly. Now, you don't need a CFO from the get-go, but the other thing is, this is why I offered CFO on demand, was because I knew that a lot of people wanted to include an element of advice from somebody like me, and they have an early stage business. They've enjoyed all of this advice, but they just want to go that one layer deeper and actually ask me questions or bring something to the table that I can review and just say, "Hey Shannon, does the tax return look right? How the hell do I deal with 1099s? Do my financials look okay? Are there any glaring issues with these?" Now, all of that and more can be answered in our direct message channel. And you can use the CFO on demand as a resource to just have a direct line to me and ask these types of questions. So there's more information about that in the show notes as well. But just keep in mind that is a resource available to you. You don't need to hire a full time accountant. You don't need to hire an expensive accountant when you're first starting out. There are resources available to you, whether it's DIY or low cost providers, or just adapting a lot of the team you have to take on some of these duties in the short term. Now, a lot of accountants would say, but it would be ideal if they would hire accountants early on. Yes, of course. But with the capital you have, especially if you're early stage, my opinion is that the first dollar you should spend is the one that will make you the next $10. And frankly, let's be real, accounting, if you're investing in a bookkeeper, they ain't making you money back. They can save you time, but they're not literally generating a return. So if I had $5,000 to spend, right now, I could, you know, prepay for say a year of bookkeeping maybe, or I could run ads on Facebook. You bet your bottom that I'm going to run ads because I'm going to say, "Hey, this is going to make me more money so I can still invest in the bookkeeper. I can have the best of both worlds if I can make the money work for me directly." And I'm not knocking bookkeepers. You guys are worth your weight in gold. I know that. I love you guys. But truth be told, when a business owner is in their early stages, they just got to make money. They got to have activity that you can bookkeep. They got to have enough going on to make it worth your while and their while. So it's really important to consider where you are in your business, what you really need, and what stage you're in, and make sure you're not chasing, you know, the status above you and overloading your overhead with things that you don't need. I'm always an advocate for have the minimum that works for you until it doesn't work for you. And then you can build and you can layer, you can stack and you can change. I mean, we all do it. You're not going to have your full team from day one. So just keep that in mind as you grow that this will change, this will evolve, but you don't have to apply a lot of pressure to yourself to assemble this whole team from day one. I think that, bookkeeping is a great thing to outsource when you start, but a lot of people can do that. And you don't always have to have it be perfect in order for it to be good enough. That's your permission that you never needed. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Okay, real talk. Our business can really mess with our emotions and our mindset. Am I right? One day we feel like we're unstoppable, like we could run through a wall, and then the next we want to burn it all down and start from scratch. Hey, I'm with you. A lot of this has to do with how we approach our money. And if you need a quick jolt of mindset habits for the next 5 days to help you reboot and recalibrate, check out my 5-day financial mindset refresh delivered straight to your email. Click the link in the show notes to sign up right now. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.